Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something absolutely critical for any organization that's trying to scale their technology. How do you actually translate all that raw technical AI potential into a defensible, board-ready financial perspectives? Well, think of it like building a structural blueprint. You wouldn't try to build a skyscraper without a solid architectural plan, right? And you definitely shouldn't ask a CFO for millions of dollars in AI funding without a rigorous financial architecture. That is exactly what we're going to build together today. Here is the schematic for our explainer today. 1. A tale of two pitches. 2. Why AI pitches fail. 3. Architecting the value pillars. 4. Surviving the TCO iceberg. 5. The CFO stress test. And 6. Accountability and the loop. Okay, Section 1. A tale of two pitches. Capital allocation versus technology advocacy. Let's dive right into a real-world scenario from the spring of 2024 involving two different organizations trying to secure AI funding from their boards. We've got InsureFirst on one hand and ClaimsEdge on the other. Both wanted to deploy intelligent document processing for their claims handling. Both had tech teams ready to go and both estimated multi-million-dollar savings, but the results were night and day. InsureFirst brought a massive 48-page technical proposal to the board, and they were deferred. ClaimsEdge brought a super lean 12-page business case, and they got approved. So what gives? Why the drastically different outcomes? I can tell you right now, it definitely wasn't the AI technology itself, which was practically identical. It was the framing. You see, InsureFirst was pitching technology. They talked about model architecture, they had zero baseline metrics, and they presented a single, highly optimistic scenario. The board just saw it as an IT procurement pitch. ClaimsEdge, on the other hand, architected capital allocation. They opened with business intelligence or BI-validated data, they modeled 3 distinct financial scenarios, and they explicitly included all the hidden costs. They spoke directly to the CFO in the language of finance. And that beautifully illustrates our core concept today. You absolutely must ground abstract financial concepts into a solid structural foundation. If you want that green light, you've got to build a structural architecture that translates technical potential into a CFO-approved financial prospectus. So, to really understand how to build this properly, let's look at where these structures usually fall apart. Section 2. Why AI pitches fail. Research analyzing over 150 enterprise AI business cases reveals 7 consistent failure modes. Let's just fire through these really quick. Number 1, untranslated productivity claims. Saying AI improves productivity by 35% means literally nothing if it isn't tied to a specific dollar amount. 2, single scenario optimism. A best case scenario isn't a plan, it's a wish. 3, severely underestimated total cost of ownership. 4, no baseline measurement. Actually, here's a crazy fact for you. 61% of enterprises cannot demonstrate ROI from their AI investments simply because they never established a baseline before deploying. Mind-blowing, right? 5 is tech-first framing. 6 is missing risk scenarios. And 7, having no post-deployment measurement plan. To avoid those fatal cracks in the foundation, we need to flip the perspective and look through the CFO's evaluation lens. What do they care about? Well, they focus intensely on strategic fit. Does this align with the top priorities of the business? They want financial robustness to see if it holds up under stress. They demand total cost transparency, comparable returns, like net present value measured against established hurdle rates, and above all else, accountability. They want to know exactly who owns the outcome and how it's going to be measured. Moving to Section 3, architecting the value pillars. Now that we know what the CFO demands, it's time to construct the load-bearing columns of our AI value proposition. Every AI business case has to quantify value across up to 5 categories: cost reduction, revenue generation, risk mitigation, capability creation, and competitive positioning. But here's the secret sauce. Notice the foundation they are all resting on: a BI-validated baseline. Without business intelligence validating exactly where you're starting from, these pillars simply cannot hold weight, and your projected value will just collapse under scrutiny. But here's the catch that trips up so many teams. Not all AI is financially equivalent. There are 3 main types of AI investments, and each one requires a distinctly different mathematical framework. Process automation uses a total economic impact framework. Infrastructure investments, those use net present value and payback frameworks over 36 months. And co-pilots use a productivity multiplier model. If you apply the wrong math to the wrong type of AI investment, you're either going to produce false positives or you're going to completely kill a truly brilliant investment. You've got to match the framework to the tech. Section 4, surviving the TCO iceberg. This brings us to a massive hidden danger lurking beneath the surface. It's a crucial concept known as the Cronquist doctrine. This doctrine states that true AI costs actually run 2 to 5 times the software license fee. Because of this, proposals must demand lifetime cost estimates, treating them with the exact same rigor as a bond prospectus. Ignoring this is incredibly dangerous. Right now, 70% of AI projects drastically overshoot their initial budgets by more than 50%, all because they only calculated the visible license fee. When you look at how this TCO iceberg actually breaks down, you've got your visible costs up top, the software, the implementation, and the basic infrastructure. But look below the waterline. You have recurring costs and hidden costs, 12 total categories in all. We're talking about massive budget killers like data preparation, integration, and change management. Get this, change management is missing from 62% of business cases. So, to survive this iceberg, the golden rule is to calculate your 3-year TCO and then automatically tack on a 25% risk-adjusted contingency. Section 5, the CFO's Stress Test. Okay, it's time to subject our newly built financial architecture to some extreme weather conditions. As we discussed earlier, CFOs evaluate investments with range thinking. You must present a 3-scenario stress test. Walk them through an optimistic scenario, a base or most likely scenario, and a conservative scenario. And here is the absolutely crucial rule for getting approved. Even in your conservative scenario, where adoption only hits 50%, value is delayed by 6 months, and TCO overruns by 25%, that floor scenario must still show a defensible, positive net present value. To ground these scenarios in reality, you need to bring industry benchmarks to the table, and I want to share a highly surprising number with you to show just how fast these investments can pay off. 14 months. That's it. Across the industry, the median payback period for well-targeted enterprise AI programs is a remarkably short 14 months. And for agentic deployments, it's even shorter. The potential returns here are absolutely massive. Just look at the financial services sector data. The average AI ROI benchmark is sitting at an unbelievable 420%. Customer service AI hits up to 480%, and document processing hits up to 450%. This is exactly why getting the capital allocation math right matters so much. The upside is huge, but you have to secure the funding first by proving the math. Let's bring all these structural pieces together into the ultimate synthesis, the 7-section blueprint of a board-ready business case. It flows like this. It starts with strategic fit, moves into the problem and baseline, then the proposed solution, the complete financial model, the sensitivity analysis, the risk register, and finally ends with the post-deployment plan. Building your case to match this exact architecture practically guarantees CFO approval because it systematically answers literally every financial question they have. And our final phase, Section 6, Accountability and the Loop. Getting the budget approved is really just the beginning. Now we have to lock in the results with continuous measurement and unshakable accountability. The whole thing boils down to this incredibly simple equation. Business value equals technical capability multiplied by adoption rate. A technically perfect AI system delivers exactly 0 value if your people do not use it. You must have a committed measurement plan with validated baselines, sourced cost data, and cited comparisons to track adoption and value realization over time. Let's look at how this builds long-term success through what we call the business case tango loop. By instituting rigid business intelligence checkpoints at 90, 180, and 365 days, you are constantly comparing actual KPIs against your projected KPIs. This continuous measurement is magic. It turns your projected benefits into actual, compounding institutional credibility. And that makes getting your next AI business case approved a whole lot easier. Before you ever walk into that boardroom, I want you to run through this final checklist. Think of it as your ultimate tool to ensure you're speaking the CFO's language. Have you stated the problem in non-technical terms? Do you have a BI-validated baseline? Are all 12 TCO categories included, complete with a 25% contingency? Does your conservative scenario calculate a positive NPV across the company hurdle rate? And finally, do you have a committed 90, 180, and 365-day measurement plan? Check these off and your architecture is rock solid. As we wrap up this explainer, I want to leave you with one final, pretty provocative question to really cement this mindset shift. Look at your next presentation and ask yourself, are you just pitching AI technology, or are you architecting capital allocation? Master the architecture, speak the language of finance, and you will never struggle to fund your AI initiatives again.
Thanks for exploring this with me today, and I hope you're eager to get out there and construct your next winning case.